So this next clip I'm about to play you guys was from the Bill Simmons podcast well before any of this Myles Garrett news became public. As you know, it came public at literally 11:01 this morning, so this was from well before. And on the Bill Simmons podcast, they were talking about which teams were in the worst position moving forward, taking into consideration the roster, the salary cap, the future draft picks, the young talent on the team. And they came to a conclusion on which team was in first place, which is worst, in their rock bottom rankings. Steve, let's play the clip.
I made an end of the year rock bottom rankings for you. Franchises rock bottom. Who's the deepest rock bottom right now? I think it's the Browns, number one. They 3-14. They lost their last 5. They lost 8 more games than they lost last year.
Right.
Their last 3 games, they scored 16 points. They have 2 more years of Deshaun Watson.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a top 2 pick, which they kind of stumbled into and didn't seem conceivable. But now they have the second pick in this draft that everybody's already like, I don't know about these quarterbacks. And yet they're going to have to take one, right? Or you think they're going to have to trade
it? Yeah, they have to just keep trading picks. They have to say, sorry, fans, we f***ed up. We're going to be bad for the next 3 years. It's our fault. It's not yours. You'll still have to pay top dollar to get into these games, but we're going to have to do some maneuvering to get these draft picks back, to get some capital back. I really feel that's the way to do it. They're not a quarterback away from winning, and they're already paying a ton to keep the terrible one.
So they had the Browns at number 1. Jay, you and I talked this morning. I disagreed with that this morning.
Yeah.
Do you believe the Browns
are
in the worst spot?
I do now. I was going to say, this is really hard when you're comparing them to all the other teams. We're all observers of the other teams, but we don't study the other teams. Could there possibly be another team that's in a worse situation long term? Maybe.
Yeah.
I'll say this. I don't know of that team if there is one. I could probably be reminded of a team situation and say, yeah, that sucks too.
Bingo.
The Saints are bad. So when
Bingo.
I was doing it, I was going, geez, Saints, Raiders, Browns,
Here's a real easy way to do this, okay? Like real quick. We'll go real quick. Just go through the top teams in the draft. Who's worse? Who's in a worse situation, the Browns or the Titans? It's probably close.
Yeah,
I think they're real close too. That's what I would have said originally. They're in the bottom 5 for sure.
Browns or Giants? Who's in a worse spot?
Browns.
Well,
Mike, you know the Giants.
The Giants do have a player I think is going to be a generational wide receiver.
Yeah, I think the Giants are in a better spot.
Browns or Patriots? Patriots think they have their quarterback in Drake May.
They do, and also with Mike Vrabel, I think you're going to see an immediate culture change.
Browns or Jaguars? Trevor Lawrence.
See, that was the other one that I was like, I don't really know their full situation.
Give me the Jaguars.
But because they have, I would rather have Trevor Lawrence than what we have.
They got Walker.
Browns or Raiders?
Boy. I like the Raiders because they got a monster tight end. They got does Dexter Lawrence play for them?
No, Lawrence is a Giant. But they have Max Crosby.
Max Crosby.
They have a piece on both sides.
They're not in a great spot, but they're probably a little bit better. They got a beautiful stadium that they play in that nobody goes to. Browns or the Jets?
Jets
are in quarterback mess too, but they've got a great defense.
Give me the Jets are better. Are in a better spot.
Garrett Wilson.
Browns or Panthers?
That's tough.
Well, I mean,
Bryce Young looks like he might have figured some things out this year.
Yeah, he showed signs.
At least they got some
improvement.
quarterback. Give me the Panthers.
And then Browns or Saints? Saints are in cap hell. They don't have a quarterback. They play in a shit stadium.
They have no coach.
Yeah.
So that's it really. And then the picking 10th is the Bears. Browns or Bears. Bears
got all kind of stuff.
Yeah. So, and then the 49ers are after that. So, I mean, based on that, Browns, Saints, you can talk yourself into the Titans.
Probably.
But here's the thing. I just heard them talk. And I'm like, the worst thing you can do, I'm telling you this right now, the worst thing you can do is go up there, trade back a bunch of times, hand the card into the commissioner, and they say defensive tackle. Ain't nobody coming to them games. I'm going to let you know right now. Because here's what's going to happen. You'll get that defensive tackle, and you might win one game
Garrett,
this year.
it's not the NBA. Fans come to games not to see one player play. Fans weren't going to the stadium to say, all right, let me dial in on Myles Garrett now. They come to the stadium because they want to see wins.
Well,
It's about winning.
But you're not going to get any wins with a D tackle
well,
at all.
I know this. You're not going to get any wins with no talent anywhere.
Here's the thing.
You are talent starved. You
what-
need everything.
Here's what you are missing. Jason just said it. They have the defensive player of the year, and you won 3 games.
Yes.
If you don't have a quarterback, you're out of here.
100%.
So they might get to swinging. Yeah, get to swinging. Now, if you move Myles Garrett, you better draft 2 quarterbacks now, because that's the only referendum. That's the only thing people want to see. When you are doing a rebuild, we don't want to see defensive tackles and tight ends and guards. We want to see, can you find a quarterback? And here's the thing: if they don't draft a quarterback, do you think that they're going to win enough games or even get enough cachet or anything for the fan base to stay around? Stefanski and Barry will be gone in 4 weeks. The only thing that's going to save them right now, do you know they're going to be terrible, is if they have a quarterback that looks like that he's competent and shows flashes that he might be the guy. I don't care if you get it at 2 or 33 or wherever, but you got to take a quarterback in this draft.
Oh, they
and you
will.
better figure it out.
I'm not saying they're doing it too. They might, but they're taking a quarterback somewhere in this
Somewhere.
draft. They have to.
They got to.
But I mean, just look across. You talk about the holes on this team. Your left tackle may show up at 350. He may show up at 415. Odds are probably the same. Were you going to bet on him showing up at 350 or 415? That's probably even money. Right tackle, there's no guaranteed money left on Conklin's deal. What are you going to do there? The left guard is old and may retire. The right guard's getting older. Receiver, I've talked about it all year. All the metrics, all the advanced metrics tell you the receivers are slow and aren't good at creating separation. Jerry Jeudy's a number 1. Looked like he could be a number 1. What do you have beyond that? You don't have a running back on the roster. By the way, you don't have a quarterback either. Defensively, you may have lost your best linebacker for his career.
Ever.
Now you may trade your best edge rusher, which, again, I think you absolutely have to look at that. But, it's a really, really, really bleak spot right now. If you fix the quarterback, though, everything else turns. Everything else turns.
That's why I'm going to the casino. Listen. They could tell me all you want. This is bad class. This is bad class. This is bad. You could keep saying that.
You want to prove it.
No. I'm rolling these dice. That's the only thing we got.
We did that with Deshaun Watson. It set us back to where we are today.
But you still got to keep rolling.
And that wasn't even that much of a dice roll.
Garrett's right. You got to keep throwing the dice.
Rolling.
And not
So
necessarily.
miss on quarterback again?
Yeah.
When there's not, everybody has to put a grade on what's the percentage chance that this player's going to hit.
Oh, I'm not saying take him at 2. I'm not saying that.
I'm
but
not
you got to
either.
take a quarterback. Every draft. We went through this before.
Cam Ward's going 1 to
every
Miami.
year.
Does everybody agree with that now?
To Tennessee.
Tennessee.
To Tennessee,
From
yeah.
Miami.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I
the
said that.
prevailing
I said
report
that
out
a
of the
couple
Senior
weeks
Bowl.
ago, only because Bernie said they love Cam Ward.
Even the worst drafts, quarterback drafts, still have one. And maybe it's Cam Ward is the one, and you're
And that's
screwed
right,
no matter
right.
what. But even the worst quarterback drafts, typically,
Except
there's
for
at
the
least
22
one.
class.
And if he's
the 22 class, there's none.
And if I'm crazy,
That was Kenny Pickett was the first quarterback
That was
off
Brock
the board.
Purdy.
Yeah.
That was Brock
Brock
Purdy.
Purdy.
Yeah.
Purdy.
Okay.
So,
Mr. Irrelevant.
But again,
Maybe you get
there's
one in the
one,
7th
there's
round.
one.
But there's one.
And
Yeah.
am I wrong in this? It's not as punitive as it is if you miss. Like, look, they got rid of Josh Rosen. They get rid of people. Like, if Shedeur Sanders or whoever you take in the 2nd round ain't it, especially if it's the 2nd round.
Now, you're right. It's a lot cheaper to miss on a rookie quarterback than it is to bring someone.
Oh,
in for
100%.
$30,
Of
$40
course it
million.
is.
And if we want
And I think because of the
He's right.
Deshaun Watson contract, you can't go out and do this through free agency. You just can't. You can't
there's no
spend.
one worth doing it on. I mean,
No,
maybe,
there isn't.
Maybe
but even if there
Darnold,
was,
but
Jay,
maybe.
even if there was, the formula for where they are now is almost dictates you have to do it with a rookie quarterback contract.
I'm just looking at I'm just looking at the landscape. If I'm a fan and you still got Deshaun Watson nasty taste in your mouth, and you know he's still in the roster. You look at Nick Chubb, he's diminished. Myles Garrett ain't gonna be here anymore. JOK may never play again, and I mean that puts you in a position where you watching your team. You don't want to get back to that place in 17 and 16 where it was. I mean, I dreaded talking about the Browns, and I had to do it for a living. You knew Cody Kessler. You knew good and well every game you would go into a game and you said the Browns are going to lose, and there's nothing we could do about it. I don't think that they have a stadium on the horizon where they can sell us, hey, you know, we still got these retread quarterbacks. We got Bailey Zappi coming back and compete. No, man, this not gonna work. They better trust me. They better figure this thing out with quarterback. They better keep swinging and missing, or this thing it's gonna be ugly. Quickly.
Well, I can't take another missing quarterback. I can't take it.
I don't want to take the miss either. I really wouldn't. I really would love for there to be one of these guys. Like at least give me. I would love to even have a Penix or Bo Nix will look good right now.
Shit. I would give a year off my life to have Bo Nix on the roster right now.
Right now, I'm not hate. So I'm just looking at it like I'm wondering what they're gonna do. This is
And
fascinating.
Bo Nix was the 6th quarterback taken.
He was.
in a very quarterback deep draft.
He was.
This is very fascinating. Well, it looks like we'll be in a news cycle again. We can't get out the news cycle, can we?
It never ends.
No, this
Never ends.
We can't get a low key one.